Hi, everyone. This is Sanya Bari, and I'm a relationship therapist, a specialist in relationships, and I'm a coach, and I love talking about relationships. I'm going to do a live today about an extremely important topic, which is communication and connection. How to have good communication and deepen your relationship and really work on your connection. And this is one of the most requested topics when I do therapy. Almost everyone who comes in, whether they have other major issues to handle or not, this is one thing that I always have to and like to and do work with people on: the communication. So I'm going to give you, in today's video, I'm going to give you very specific tips that you can bring into your life today and begin changing your communication, yes, with your spouse and your partner, but also with anybody in your life. And everything that I'm going to say today are the exact interventions that I use in therapy. Of course, I have more than that, but it's a really good grounding to get you started and feeling confident. So one of the first things that I want to say about communication is that if you don't have your communication down, it's very difficult to create a strong connection, a strong bond. And if you don't have a good communication, then what happens is that two people in a relationship keep feeling like, I'm not listened to, I'm not heard. One of the reasons people go into long-term relationships and marry, for example, is that they want one person to be a witness to their life, one person to be by them as they live through this life. And if you take away a person's ability to communicate and express to you what they feel, then you've really taken away a huge part of what the biggest motivation for people for having a relationship is. And so when, for example, if I'm in a relationship and my partner cannot hear me, they don't understand me, then the automatic response, emotional response that human beings have is that they're going to start guarding themselves. They're going to start protecting themselves. That's how the human psyche works. And when you start putting those guards up, your defense mechanism up, there's no room for vulnerability. There's no room for true expression. There isn't, and without those things, there isn't room for true intimacy of the emotions of the heart. And people start to close up. They start to find other places, where they can express themselves. And I don't necessarily mean that they're going to go cheat on you right away, although that also happens, but they're going to find other avenues. Maybe they'll take up a sport and this and that. However, this is a beautiful gift that everybody in a relationship has, to be able to see another human being so up close. So we all have to remember what an honor that is. So what I want to tell you is that when people come to me for therapy, everybody's saying, I don't feel I'm heard. I don't think that my partner really hears me. And but the other person also is saying that, but my partner says that I don't listen to them. And this is the most common scenario. It is just, everybody says that. Now, what is happening here? The truth is that nobody's listening to each other. Now, communication is not really, as much as we think it is not about the articulation. It is about the reception. How are you receiving people? And so, this is the biggest confusion. And if you are not able to communicate, it's got nothing to do with, your level of education and how amazing you're able to run boardrooms and you're not able to communicate to your wife and your husband. It doesn't have to do with your experience or your intelligence. One of the reasons, as an example, one of the examples I like to give is that one of my couples that came in for therapy owned a very successful communication and marketing agency. And they were coming in to fix their communication with me. And this is a prime example that this is not about knowledge. This is about emotions. It is the emotions that stand in the way of us being able to fully receive somebody that we care about. So I'm going to give you very specific things in this live so that you can use them right away. So one of the things that I will tell you is that before you get into any conversation, yes, the conversation that you're going to have in your personal life, but any conversation whatsoever, even in your business life, in your work life, you want to know before you get into that conversation what you want to feel like at the end and what you want to achieve at the end. So you have to communicate from beginning, during, and the middle part, and make sure that you are aligned with where you want to end up. So suppose I started a communication with somebody, maybe a friend, and I'm a little bit nervous about that communication. I want to tell her something maybe that hurt me. Let's say it was that. And I'm going to feel like I don't really know how she's going to take it. I don't know how it's going to go. But I know, maybe in this scenario, I'm saying that I know that I care for this friend. I don't want her to feel bad. That is not my intention. Maybe I need to have a conversation to draw a boundary or to fix something about our relationship, but I don't want her to hurt. I don't want to hurt. And I want to continue to be friends with her. So as I'm conversing with her, I'm going to begin with that thought in mind, and I'm going to watch the entire, almost like panoramic view, keeping an eye on the whole conversation while I'm in the conversation, and watch it to see where it's going. So as I start to present the whole thing that I'm trying to say to her, if it's going the wrong way, then I need to let go of the content of what I'm trying to tell her. And I have to then take on the dynamics that are happening in the conversation. And I have to say, wait, I don't think this is going the right way. I think that you're misunderstanding me. This is the best place for us to recognize that whenever I always say to all my clients who come to me that if you're ever communicating with somebody and they start to become defensive, you want to stop there and you want to check in and you want to say, wait a second, am I coming across in a way that I'm attacking you? Because it is extremely possible that when we are in our thing, when we're passionate about something, that we don't always realize how we're coming across to other people. And we can sometimes become very intimidating, not realize that our tone is wrong, our volume is wrong, or not wrong, but is giving them the impression that we are attacking them. It is very important. So I would say, do you feel like I'm attacking you? Is it coming across to you like I'm attacking you? Because if I am, that's not my intention. I want to say the whole thing, not just to say, do you think that I'm attacking you? That can not to form another accusation. And then to fix that, sometimes it will be because we really did become loud. Maybe we didn't. Maybe the content of our words is immaculate, but our micro expressions are such that are giving the other person the impression that we are in a conflict, so to speak, or we are attacking them. So sometimes it'll also happen that the person you're speaking to is finding it very hard to hear what you have to say. And the truth is that all of us, including myself, whatever we truly, truly need to hear, it's really, really hard for us to hear that. So have compassion for that person and have compassion for yourself during the conversation, and gently do it. Sometimes if you have decided that you want the conversation to go a certain way and it's going completely opposite, then stop. It doesn't need to happen right now. I remember when I married, before I was marrying, I asked a couple of people that I thought, maybe know a little bit, and they did, more experienced in marriage, for advice. And one of the many advices that I got was, don't go to bed upset. And that actually is the wrong advice. Thank God I didn't get it, learn that the hard way, but I learned it by being in grad school and stuff, because when you are really, really discombobulated, when you are really, really activated, when you are flooded, you need to de-escalate. Because if you're going to have a conversation with someone from that state, it is not really going to be you who's communicating. It's going to be a part of you that is scared, that is angry, that is resentful. And that's not a true representation of who you are. And those are the moments when we regret something that we say. So no, if you are upset and you feel that you are too upset, do not wait till the next morning. Don't wait forever. Don't let it go. That's the only fear in this waiting period. But don't have a conversation when you yourself don't feel sound and contained and connected to a stable core inside you. So that's the first thing I'm going to say. Now, then I'm going to talk about prefacing. I absolutely love prefacing. It is so, so important to do that. So let's take that same example that I'm speaking to a friend and I'm having a conversation that I really do need to have, but I don't think all that I know of her, she's not going to take it well. So, in that conversation, my biggest, most important preface is, number one, the intention. State your intention. And I know it's going to be weird and it's going to sound so clinical, but whenever I want to have a conversation with someone that I really care about, that I know is going to be in this realm, I will be weird and I'll say something like, my intention is to speak from the heart and to hear you from my heart. And so I want to establish, even in a professional environment, I want to establish that I'm not here out to get you, that I care about this interaction and our relationship more than just wanting to win this argument, I'm going to approach you from a different place. When I say something like that, when I say my intention out loud, yes, I'm conveying this to the other person. But most importantly, it really grounds me. In order for me to say a sentence like, I'm going to speak from the heart and I'm going to listen from the heart, understand that I really have to bring my ego down quite a bit. So it's really wonderful to speak from that place. Then the other prefaces that I really insist everybody makes is that, other intentions also could be, let me tell you that my intention is that at the end, like you can say, what you want at the end. Like, my intention is that when we're done with this conversation, that we're going to feel closer together, that we're going to walk out of this lunch that we're having, for example, happy, that we're going to create a relationship of being more honest from now on with this communication. So any of those intentions would be fine. Now, the other way that I really want you to preface is to use sentences and words like, my fear is and my story is. As an example, my daughter was thinking of going away to college to all of these far off lands, so to speak, hours and hours away on flight. And I really didn't want that. And right now we were at this stage still discussing what we were going to do. And I started to feel like, oh my God, all of these fears started coming up. And I found myself, I believe I even began to speak like this, that, you're never gonna, you're not going to be able to come for important things. And what if somebody gets sick? And what if, it's holidays and there's snow and you're not going to be able to travel? And what if this? And so I was beginning to hear myself go down myself. Thank God I didn't dig myself in too deep. But I could tell that this was My fear. It had nothing to do with the reality of what was going to happen. So if I did say all of that to her, if I did say to her, you're never going to come and you're going to get stuck and this and that, it wouldn't be accurate. It wouldn't be the truth, because the truth is that is my fear. So really what I'm asking for is, in that moment, say the truth. And so and that's one. And the other one that I say my story is, it comes from, Brene Brown talks about this. And it's so important to say that, because our experience is our experience and it's completely valid. But other people's experience is also valid. And that's their perspective. And as much of a right as we do have of our perspective, other people also have the right to their perspective. And everybody's perspective is just a story. So again, when I'm giving you these prefaces, they're really about saying what the reality is. If people don't use these prefaces and they start speaking the way I was telling you that I accidentally maybe would have, if I didn't take care, would have started to speak like that. What we do is that we come across to people that we really want to communicate to as the judge, jury, and the executioner. My request is to always leave room, that the door is open for the people to come back to you, to say that, you're not, if we are, we have to understand, why are we speaking? Are we speaking to this person just to relieve ourselves? Just to relieve our anxieties? Sometimes we are accidentally doing that. So let's not do that. Our issues and our pain and our emotions are supposed to be processed within us, not during the conversation. Or are we saying something to break someone, to hurt someone? Are we doing it so that we can be understood? If it's the second one, that we're doing it to be understood, to communicate, then we have to process it first before we start blurring all this out in this manner. So that's what I'm saying. I will tell you one more thing, that, if you are somebody who gets loud during a discussion, it would be very good to preface it by saying, my intention is to be very gentle in this conversation, to not raise my voice, to not give you from my micro expressions, from my volume, from my tone, an impression that I'm screaming at you, that I'm fighting with you. So if I start to do that, can you help me? And can you let me know? And if you set that up in the communication beforehand, what happens is, when you do start doing that and somebody's like, relax or be quiet, you're not so offended, because understand that you're in a heightened state many times when you're communicating, of upset. So things can get out of hand real fast. If we care about the people that we are talking to, if we care about the relationships that we are trying to develop, then it's really, really important for us to take all of these precautions. So now the last thing that I have for you is a trick, without going into massive mechanics of teaching you in the way that we systematically teach people how to communicate. I think the biggest cheat sheet I can give you is that when your partner is speaking and they're relating their side of what happened in the story, you also obviously have your own side of what happened. And many times, especially if this is a conflict, what your story is, what your perspective is totally different, or definitely different, if not totally different, from what your partner or the person you're communicating to has. So, as a human being, if my friend is saying something to me about a situation that I was in also, and she's relating this whole event to me, my brain is going to start playing a video of my perspective of what she's talking about. That's just how we work. So my request is that when you start to notice that when you notice that my partner is speaking, but what's playing in my mind and my eyes is my video, my story, my movie of what's happening, I need you to like literally say, stop to your partner. Say, give me 1 second, and you calibrate. And then you basically do everything you can in that moment, humanly possible, to get out of your story just for a minute and then get into the story of your partner that he or she is telling. One of the biggest reasons we're not going to be able to do this is because we have this ridiculous, baseless fear that if I tune out of my story and just listen to what this person is saying, I'm going to lose my story. I'm going to be irrelevant. Like I'm going to lose credibility here. And none of that is true. None of that is true. One of the greatest gifts you can give anyone that you love or even see on the street and don't know, is to truly, truly be present and witness them as they say something that is important to them. Just to be in complete presence and just to receive them. Understand that if you are experiencing that I'm not able to get my word across to my partner, I'm not able to get my word across to my partner, I can't go into the whole psychology of that right now. But what I want to tell you is that that is evidence that you are also not listening. So the place to start is to start listening, to really, really listen. What the last thing that I'm going to tell you is perception checking. And what that is that after your partner has said something, you have so beautifully, as I said, received them and witnessed what they were saying. Before you respond to them, tell them what you heard. This one thing, yes, it's going to slow you down. Yes, it's annoying. Yes, what you want to do is say the next thing and get it over with. But this one thing is going to save you from so many arguments. How many times has it not been that we have, just been going back and forth, like a game of tennis. And we realize somewhere along the line that what we are responding to is not what they said. We all have this entitlement. I know what this person is saying. I already know. I don't even want to. I don't have the patience to hear what you're saying. I already know. Give them the pleasure. This is what relationships are built of. When successful couples, this is where I should start. All couples have conflict. If you don't have conflict in your relationship, that's a problem. That's a sign of a problem. That means one person is not getting to live into who they are. One person is holding back. One person is really not, they don't have a voice, and that's not okay. Conflict is used to bring couples together, not apart. So if you are, after each of your conflicts, if you're feeling apart, that means you're not using a really, really big tool and an opportunity in your relationship. A successful couple conflicts with each other, or even argues, you can say. I mean, really, it's not really arguing when you are a successful couple. And who is a successful couple? A successful couple can only be made by two people that are completely whole themselves, that they are secure in themselves. And when people that are secure in themselves communicate and even disagree on something, that's the word, not conflict, but disagree on something, they use that venue, that opportunity to, number one, learn more about themselves. Number two, learn more about the person that they're communicating with. And then number three, they learn about the dynamics that exist in the relationship. And with every conflict, they start becoming stronger and stronger as a couple. So I really hope that this helped. I really hope that this is going to serve you. And thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. If you have any questions, any comments, I love to hear from you. You can post them in the comments below, or you can email me at sanyabari.com. So I should say Sanya@sanyabari.com. That's my email address. And you can follow me on YouTube, on my channel, and on Instagram, which is also sanya.bari. And I look forward to connecting with all of you very soon. Until next time, love and light from my heart to yours. Goodbye for now.